Okay, I have the eSheen Micro Sky Hunter out here, and I have the WFLY ET16 transmitter with the MG216 RF module and the RG202 mini receiver in it. So let's see, let's go ahead and do a field test of this receiver and see what we have. Make sure that everything is nice and steady and stable. We've got wind of about 4 to 5 right now. Alright, so, and it is really cloudy skies. It's about 3:45 in the afternoon. Alright, let's see if we can get it in the air. Are we ready? Here we go. Oh, I think I should have put in a little more expo in this transmitter. Whee! There's another plane. It has been a while since I have flown. You know, the larger the inventory of plane, the less frequently you have to fly it, right? I really like this plane. Alright, well, so far so good. No glitching. Connection feels good and solid. This is a tiny, tiny little transmitter that is in this. I mean, receiver that's in it. Now this is just a test flight, so I just want to make sure that everything is good to go. And then we get back to the hangar, I'll go through the parameters on the RF module. I have it set up for Crossfire. I don't know how well you can see that against those clouds. It was supposed to be a partly cloudy day. This is the definition of partly cloudy. How you like that? Smooth so far, smooth. Except that I needed to put a little more expo on the transmitter because I haven't flown it with this transmitter before. Ailerons feel a little abrupt. Whee! And that little tripod skid system I put on this plane is still holding up after the last flight session. Okay, so let's come. There goes the end of my timer. Okay, let's come through here and check our directions. Clear in that direction. Clear in that direction. Okay. Cha-ching! Okay, I'm gonna increase my expo a little bit on this transmitter. Hey, look at that, my skids are still hanging up. That is one sweet little plane. I thought this would be a good plane to put this little tiny receiver in. Can you see that little crossbar at the top? That thing is so small and so lightweight. Okay, so I will meet you back at the hangar, and we will go over some of the parameters of the receiver on the RF module. I've got mine set up for 100 milliwatt output, but we'll go through and I'll show you all the different levels of power output that you can use. I think just about anybody will be able to use it no matter where they live, you know, even with some extreme legal requirements for power output. So I will see you back at the hangar. Okay, so no issues with the RF module and this tiny little receiver. It wasn't a real aerobatic flight, it was just a test flight, but I did want to give it several different looks at the antenna on this receiver. You know, did a couple of rolls, did a loop with it, did a steep climb out toward myself and away from myself, some steep angle turns with it, and everything seemed solid. I never got any warning at all from the RSI signal on the transmitter. So everything looked good, no problem, except that I really needed to increase the amount of expo I had in my ailerons with this transmitter. But everything worked fine. I had no problems with it whatsoever. The flight went well for the most part. It was, you know, a setup issue with the Skyhunter on this transmitter, but the transmitter and the receiver worked just fine. I didn't have any problems whatsoever. So I'll bring the camera in here and I will give you, I'll go through a couple of the screens for the module so that you can see, and I'll adjust the power settings so you can see what each power setting is depending on where you live, what you need to set it to. So I'll bring the camera in, I'll power up the plane and power up the transmitter, and I'll bring the camera in so you can see the different screens. In order to see the telemetry screen, you know, you've got to have the module bound up to the receiver, so I wanted to show you that too. So I'll be back in a minute. Okay, so we're bound up. I wanted to go into the link settings and then go into link, and then here's where you can turn off the internal module. Select the multi-protocol module, and then power settings. You can see that the firmware of the module is version 1.0.1. I've got my power output at 100 milliwatt. You can also do your binding from this screen too. You don't have to do it from the module itself. You can set the module up for bind from here. It's showing channels 1 through 16 are available. So 100 milliwatt. Okay, so the lowest one is 5 milliwatt, 10, 25, 50, 100. So you've got 5 different power settings that you could choose from. Not bad at all. And then telemetry. And it states in the manual that this has a range of 3 kilometers, which is 1.86 miles in an open area without any interference. So I don't do long range flight. I like to do close proximity aerobatic flight, which this, you should also benefit from with this module and this receiver, because it's supposed to have better penetration through objects. So it's winter in the northern hemisphere now, and so I haven't flown FPV in quite a while, but I'm going to be flying some FPV indoors this year in the house with a little micro quadcopter. And so I think that a unit like this will come in really handy if you're flying a microplane indoors this winter, or if you're flying a micro quadcopter indoors this winter. So not only for a larger plane, but I think for micro quadcopters and micro aircraft flying indoors, I think it also is well suited for that. So okay, so I think that is all that I wanted to show you as far as what you need to see for the power output on the module, how you can bind up to it from the ET16 without having to use the bind button on the back of the module, and also looking at the telemetry screen. So, all right, so stay tuned. I will be putting this module in my OpenTX Radio Master TX16S transmitter, and we will go out and do another test flight, and then I will go through the parameter settings through OpenTX. So stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the air.